So I'm here with Andrew van Kralingen, who's running for AU president.
Yeah.
Do you want to just talk us through some of the experience that you've had that would help you to become AU president?
Sure. I started rowing at the university. Well, I started rowing for my school first, but I rowed Cameraman at the university, and since I've been here, I've been men's vice captain rather, on the committee, which involved coaching the novice men that had just started rowing, and my crew won silver at Scottish Champs that year. The next year I was secretary of the boat club, which was just pretty much the administrative head of the boat club. So race entries, transport bookings, race accommodation, racing licenses, all the things that have to do with running a boat club I kind of did last year. And then this year I'm president, and that involves just administrating and running the men and women's squads, coordinating training times, training schedules, trying to update our equipment, getting alumni support, trying to promote rowing at the university and as a sport in Scotland, been involved with Scottish rowing a lot with that. And so I think all of those things have given me good experience for the different aspects of the role of AU president. I think I can use those experiences, apply them to the AU as a whole, and help develop sports at St Andrews, both for individual club members and the wider student population. It also gave me a lot of contact time with the athletics union, with the various presidents, especially just this year. And I think I've gained a lot of insight into how the AU operates, how it interacts with clubs, how it interacts with the DSE. And I can use that experience and that knowledge as a base to grow on during the year if I was elected.
So moving on to your manifesto, the first point in there is about this budget transparency. Why is this so important to you?
For my first couple of years here, and I think this is the same for many clubs, no one really knows where the funding comes from, how it's spent, where it's allocated. And we rely as clubs so heavily on the AU for many aspects of the sports. Transport, insurance, they pay for some competition entries. They also give us some budget for competition accommodation. So I think if we can open that up and tell the clubs, this is how much money the AU has each year, this is where we have to pay money to, this is why we have to pay money to. First, it will allow the clubs to know how much the AU actually supports them, and also where there's areas for extra fiscal support. In addition to that, the AU is obviously an affiliated body of the university, so the funding comes directly from the university. So I think all the students, whether they're club members or not, have the right to know where their fees are being spent.
So your next point is about standardising student commitments. Do you just want to talk through that?
Yeah, so the academic flexibility is about kind of developing the sense of a student athlete at St Andrews. So it's very difficult, because of the way classes are timetabled, for many competitive athletes to enter competitions and represent the university and their sports club, as well as maintain high level of academic standard, which most of them aspire to. So what I would like to see is developing and growing this kind of chance for deadlines or coursework to have flexibility in them for athletes who are preparing or competing in major events. There is a process in place already. It's not very clear, but if we can clear that up and streamline it, and also just talk to the different schools and standardize an approach, as if you want to say sports as an excuse, if we standardize it so that the schools know exactly what kind of commitments, other time commitments these athletes have, they might be more willing to offer flexibility on deadlines.
So one of the big points in your manifesto is also an alumni network. How's that going to work, and why do you think that's important? Alumni,
to me, is incredibly important. My experience in the boat club, we wouldn't be where we are today as a boat club without our alumni support. Through fostering alumni relations and different alumni events we hold over the years, we've been able to raise enough money to purchase 3 new boats in the last 2 years, which is an amount of about £35,000, in addition to the little small purchases of equipment that we always need. Unfortunately, rowing is quite a capital-intensive sport compared to some others. But I think those experiences I can use to help develop the AU's alumni policy. What I would like to see is a database of alumni, sports alumni of the university, put together and kind of separated out into different sports. A database that's accessible by the different clubs and can be used to generate funding, however small, and for whatever whatever the clubs may need, and in that way help the clubs as individuals develop their alumni relations. Because I know Bow Club has a very different way of approaching alumni relations that, say, rugby does or water polo. And so if there's something that the AU has in place that can help each club develop their relationships but on their terms, that would be the most useful thing.
So most of my friends will know that I'm one of the laziest people in the world when it comes to sport. You've talked a lot about the sports clubs, but what are you going to do about people like me that at the moment I have very little incentive to go to the gym? I occasionally go for a walk.
There's some confusion about my whole widening access policy. People just think, oh, buzzword, put it in there, so the recognition factor. I just like to clear up what I actually mean. Widening access to me is making sports more accessible to the entire university. So I've already been in contact with a number of union affiliated societies about organising collaborating events between sports clubs and themselves, something like Fine Food and Dining, which already collaborates with a lot of other societies, but something like a healthy eating program or a class on how to make nutritional snacks post-workout, something that might interest students that are not, sporting inclined, but actually still want to lead a healthy lifestyle. Something that's happened the last couple of years that's on this kind of track is the Revitalize Week that's coming up in a couple of weeks' time. I think much more can be done instead of that. And so what I would like to see is I would like to bring the AU into the town. So I'd like to see events like training sessions or workout sessions held on the beach or in the union, and allow students who are not necessarily club members or even sports members being able to attend and just get a feel for what sports is like at the university. The AU currently holds weekly circuit sessions for club members. Any member of any club can go along and work out, which is a great fun, but it's only club members. And it is quite difficult to get students who are not club members involved in sports in St Andrews.
Obviously your predecessor, should you become AU president, will be Jess.
Yeah.
What do you think about what she's done, and what would you do differently to what she's done this year?
So Jess was a bit different to Emily the year before, and Jess has taken on a much more structured role, a much more behind the scenes administrative role. And I think that was vitally important for the role of AU president. It was a kind of open-ended position that didn't have much direction. And I think Jess has done a lot to structure that, give it direction, give it a goal to see it through, and like an aim of for her it was developing the Saint Sports brand and helping clubs in general, which is great. I think if I were elected, I would carry on that track, helping streamline the AU policies, open up the AU executive in their role, and structure the position of AU president. Additionally, however, I would like to see the students get involved in helping shape my policy. The students, especially club members and just general students, their priorities will be my priorities as an elected official. And so what I would like to do is open up a forum to get students' ideas. And this is not just the Club Captains Forum that every AU president candidate in the past has spoken about. I would like to see something like a student-wide survey implemented so that they can actually give me their opinions of policies they would like to see and their priorities, and if they're achievable, and I can do my best to help implement them, because if it's what the students want and it's what's best for sports at St Andrews, that will be my job.
Andrew VK, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.